Hi everyone, welcome to the intuitive card reading for the week of April 7th through 13th. Welcome. You guys know the drill. Please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel. Please share this video with anybody that needs to hear the energies of the week and the influences of the week. What else do I have to tell you guys? Comments down below. I love reading your comments. I love interacting with you guys. Okay. Same 3 decks that I've been using. I have been using 4. I took one away. This feels intuitively right. They're shuffled, obviously, and I believe different order. So, all right, guys, I'm just going to jump right into it. Let's see what this week has in store for us. All right, what do we need? We need all that glitters. Okay. Sometimes this means looking at the grass. What's that saying? Why can't I get words out? The grass is always greener on the other side. You may be wishing for something else, but not grateful for what you have. So this is kind of saying that you're kind of already looking for something. You're looking for something kind of like outside of what you already have. So yeah, this could, I'll be honest, I keep wanting to say the gratitude word. So we have gotten cards like that before in probably the last couple of months about maybe not, maybe lacking a little bit on the gratitude side. And maybe this is saying, yeah, maybe we should just be grateful for what we have. Obviously, it's always okay to want more, but in this instance, it might be harming us in the way of like holding us back or keeping us in a lack mindset or, if we look at this in the way of like a relationship, maybe it's preventing us from committing. Because we kind of always think that something better is out there, like that kind of thing. So basically the need here is saying like, we need to kind of shift that mindset that we have, whatever it is. Could be a relationship, could be, maybe you're a job hopper. I'm not sure. Obviously there's always reasons for that. Use your own intuition, as I always say, but this is basically saying like, make sure and the word envy is coming up. Maybe what you're envious of is not exactly, picture perfect or what you think it is. Social media also comes to mind, saying, what's the saying? Comparison is the thief of joy. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So maybe you might be comparing yourselves, and maybe it's saying you don't need to be doing that. So where you are is perfect. It's in divine timing. Just make sure you're not getting distracted kind of by what other people have or what you think you can have. Or what you don't have and that kind of thing. So we kind of need to shift that mindset a little bit. That's very interesting. All right, action needed. What do we need to take action on? We have mentor shadow, inability to allow the student to move on to the role of master, imparting false instruction. Okay, I think we've gotten this before, even the guide too, and I'm not sure if it was in the shadow or the light here, but this one's in the shadow. So this is about like keeping somebody dependent on you, not letting people graduate, not letting people move on. So it's under action needed. So it's saying we need to kind of like let something go, let someone go. Okay. Let somebody fly, like let them have their own wings and fly. So this might be about like, like a helicopter mom comes to mind where we're kind of like hovering or being overbearing or overprotective, in ways that we really, whoever it is, if it is an actual child, if we're actually talking about like a parent-child relationship, letting them kind of do like their own thing, maybe actually physically taking off the training wheels, they've graduated. There's something here where we have to kind of let people do what they're going to do, or what they need to do. This could also be linked to, in the past, we've had like a lot of cards like warning us of like our more controlling behavior, trying to control the outcome, trying to control other people. This is kind of about like letting people kind of do their own thing, and let them, you've taught them, you've either taught them or you've had a conversation with them or you've given them, enough advice. It's kind of like let them go and live their own life and let them do their own thing. So action needed is saying kind of like let go of that tight leash that you may have on someone. Again, this is actually this is a reading for the collective, so it doesn't have to be super, it does sound super specific, but obviously it's not going to resonate with each and every one of you guys, but something along those lines where maybe you're holding it feels like someone could be something on a tight leash in some way, shape, or form. Okay, what do we have issues with? Shapeshifter, transform and unveil your gifts. Okay, so this is about being adaptable, being flexible. This is about um, rolling with the punches, that kind of thing. So we're having issues with that. That's usually that shapeshifter card or that type of energy usually comes up in a more positive light, where maybe comes in focus, maybe comes in reflect, an important surprise. I think it's coming all these different areas, but this time it's saying no. This week we're having an issue with it. So whatever's going on this week, again, could be, I'm not getting anything specific, so it could be relationship, could be work, could be family life, whatever. We're having issues rolling with the punches and kind of being adaptable and flexible. So we're just having a little bit of issues being stubborn, or again, just not being able to go with the flow when things change. So definitely it's hinting that things might, if you have plans this week, maybe something kind of derails itself or gets canceled or moved or something like that, and you have issues kind of working with that. Challenge, bless. Okay, guys, so it wasn't crazy from that first energy here. So we have a challenge with feeling like we're blessed, feeling like we're grateful, feeling like that we have enough, that we are enough. Okay, so we're having challenges here in that area. So I picked up that energy pretty, I've kept wanting to say that gratitude word makes sense here. So we're, again, having issues with gratitude. Look, when things are miserable or not going your way, and I'm just going to say the S word, suffering, when you're suffering, which trust me, I get it. It's really hard. It's really hard finding that gratitude. And I feel the same way I feel about forgiveness. Sometimes if it feels forced, it just feels, it's not really true. But, I've been trying to do the best I can, trying to get in that gratitude mindset, listing things that I have, being very grateful that I'm not in pain, for example. I've been dealing with chronic illness the last almost 4 years, and none of it has been quote unquote painful. A lot of it has been very uncomfortable. A lot of it has been very frustrating. A lot of it has been very disheartening. A lot of it has been very miserable. I used that word already. That is a good word. But not once have I actually been in pain. So I did have a little bit of burning here and there due to nerve stuff, but still, I still wouldn't put it, I think if people have been in chronic pain before, there's no comparison. So I am very blessed about that. So I think about things like that, and that's how I kind of cultivate the gratitude. But we're having issues. It's all right. Do the best you can to get there. But obviously Spirit would like it to be a little bit more sincere. But if you, again, whatever you think you can get that will help you get there, go ahead and do that. Okay, what's actually changing? Scribe. Okay, preserving knowledge and information. Okay, so this is about recording information, writing things down, memories. Okay, so what's changing? Kind of specific, but here it goes. So that's changing, right? That we're actually starting to record information. So this could actually mean like we're capturing our memories a lot better. This is real, guys. I don't know if I said it already, but put down below how this resonates with you, if this does resonate with you, because I would love to hear how it does. I would love to see how it manifests for me in my life. But the thing that I'm getting here is like we're starting to be more cognizant of our memories and writing things down and recording things and maybe taking more pictures or making a scrapbook, keeping a very detailed diary. There's something here where we're starting to kind of like record information. Could be for just life in general. I know we've been getting a lot of cards and a lot of energy talking about, well, here and there, being more in the present moment. So this could be something linked to that. So that's so interesting. You guys have to let me know if that resonates with you, because that's what's coming through. I'm just reporting it. I just interpret the energy as I feel it and see it. But yeah, that's what's happening. We're starting to actually record our memories, trying to be more cognizant of having a record of the things that happen in our lives, or record of something in some way or shape or form. Okay, what do we need to focus on? Direction, guardian, choose your path. Okay, so we actually have a decision going on this week, it looks like. Actually, we might have multiple options I'm definitely getting like a bunch of stuff that we could be doing. So focusing on what direction you want to go in. So this could be more about planning the future and looking ahead, or this could actually be, like I said, you have a decision to make about maybe where you want to go with your career, or where you want to go with your relationship, or your family planning, or your fitness goals and your health goals, or whatever it actually is. So definitely there's something here we need to kind of focus on making a decision and choosing a path. Maybe somewhere you want to go to school, something along those lines. Anything in those categories. All right, reflecting on time. So that's interesting. This could go in so many ways. Usually TikTok is running out of time. Okay, so this might feel like you might feel like you're running out of time about something. The thing that comes to my mind, because I'm a woman, and thankfully I don't have this going on personally for me, but I know I'm friends with a lot of women as well. I'm at that age where people are kind of feeling like they're running out of time to have children. For example, they have an actual physical, biological clock. That might be what's going on in your life. You might be reflecting on how much, figuring out, okay, if I get married by this age and I have children by this age, etc. Figuring things out like on the things that you feel like you're running out of time about. This could also be, about your kids and making sure that you're spending time with them. So this is very interesting stuff. You guys, if you didn't see the monthly, I'm putting something together here. The monthly April was something about community and family, like we're being pushed into that. So I'm getting a lot of stuff here, up here too, with the mentor, the scribe. I mentioned like memories. I think about, family and friends and the people that you love the most, and you keep, that maybe you want to have more of a record of your, time with them or something. And then we have the TikTok. Okay. And I'm giving these examples about, thinking about, okay, maybe I didn't spend enough time with my kids and they're almost 18 and they're going to go to college, and like all of these different things. So there's something here where we feel like we haven't had enough time, and we need to kind of reflect on the time that has passed, the time in the future. And there's just a bunch of stuff here where we really need to start. Yes, this direction guardian under the focus is saying, we need to focus on what direction we want to go in. And I know this is the reflect, so sometimes it alludes to maybe like the past, but maybe it's also the future. Okay, so thinking about, okay, if you're saying, I haven't spent a lot of time with my kids, and they're going to college, and I'm not sure how I'm going to spend time with them in the future. So you need to reflect on both past and future here, about something. And guys, it doesn't even have to be family, it could even be career too. Okay, so but I am getting kind of like family vibes with some of these cards. Okay, so I think that's very interesting. And like I said, in the monthly, we definitely got a lot of, there was like a story to be told about family and community. So yeah, this is about running out of time about something, and we're kind of like reflecting on that specific thing. All right, responsibilities. We have Avenger, desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society and oneself. Okay, so it's in the light, and so it's saying it's like a positive thing. So your responsibility is to stand up for the things you believe in, do it responsibly. Also, like, justice is always about balance too. So your responsibilities are to balance maybe your checkbook this week, or balance your time and your energy, and have better time management in general, your work-life balance, like that kind of thing. So so those are your responsibilities, is to really make sure that the scales of justice aren't tipped in one way or the other. This includes not just like looking at it as like a time management thing, and that kind of balance, but also to don't let our egos get in the way, which can be very hard, especially like in a political landscape. And of course I'm guilty of it. I am only human, but maybe this week it's kind of like be a little bit more responsible. You can stand up for the things that you believe in without hurting other people, etc., etc. Okay, money and finances. We have medicine, mother, honor your inner knowing. We got something about the inner knowing, I believe, in the monthly as well. And now it's under money, finances, and career. This is saying honor your inner knowing when it comes to this stuff. This means this is our intuitive gift of clear knowing, clear cognizance of that weird thing that you have, that you just know something. Okay, if you know something is not right for you, don't do it. This is very important in the money, finances, and career. Crazy stuff is happening in the US this month with tariffs and things like that. If you feel like you should do something with your 401k or something related to preparing for the tariffs or something like that, and if you know it's the right thing for you, go ahead and do it. Okay, just make sure you're not doing it out of fear. I mentioned earlier, and I always try to mention this at least once every reading, honor your intuition, and knowing counts as intuition. It's just a channel. It's just a different, it comes through the knowing, okay? It's not a feeling. It's not a seeing, okay? It's not any of those things. It's the knowing. So if you know you should be doing something when it comes to money and finances and career, go with it, okay? So honor your inner knowing when it comes to this. If it doesn't sound right, if you know that it's not right, is what I should be saying, don't do it, okay? And then the opposite too. If it does feel right, do it. So that's all I'm going to say when it comes to money, finances, and career. If that is tied in any way, shape, or form to direct guardian, which is about choosing your path, which is about a decision to be made, please use your inner knowing, okay? All right, what do we need here in surprise? What do we need to know? Building blocks. Okay, even through all of this that's going on, it says building blocks. So that means always starting something or building something or creating something. So surprise is maybe you're surprised that you have time to do that, or you're surprised at maybe you weren't going to start this project until like a month from now, but you started early, or something along those lines. But something where you've wanted to start something or create something or continue to build onto something and you weren't planning on doing it, it kind of just happens this week. And I see it as like a positive thing. All right, friends, we have upside down, eternal child, inability to grow up and be responsible, extreme dependency on others, your physical security. Okay, all right, so I'm getting somebody in the friend group being irresponsible, being immature. You could also feel like you've outgrown somebody in your friends group, or even in your family too. The people that you surround, like I always see friends as like the people that you surround yourself with, like have more intimate relationships with, could be even like colleagues too at the same time. So there might feel like this outgrown feeling amongst them that you might be feeling this week, or again, somebody might come through and do something very immature or irresponsible that could affect you, or make you really mad or angry or something along those lines. I feel like it's actually coming from the outside in. It could be us acting that way, but I'm definitely feeling like it's happening to us. But again, this is the collective, so it could show up differently for everybody, these energies. Okay, wise one, grow within your current situation. Okay, so we have wisdom in the romantic connection slot, so this is good. Anytime wisdom comes through, it means you've learned something, and there's just like a lot of wisdom. This could be linked to the mentor card as well. Maybe if you feel, not to say like in a romantic partnership, one person is the student, one person is the teacher, but kind of, if you think about it, because you can have, even something as simple and maybe a little bit more on the surface of like, you don't know how to do a specific hobby and you've taught your significant other how to do it, right? And now that they're like the master and they're like, graduating to the teacher, then they have a lot more wisdom from when you first started, teaching them about the hobby. Maybe it's like horseback riding or something, right? And now they're like an expert and they have like all this wisdom around it. They have all this knowledge. So I definitely feel like it's definitely deeper than just like a hobby, but it definitely does feel like maybe you're feeling like your partner is a lot more wise. They've learned something from something they've personally gone through and they're teaching you something, or it could be, again, from us. Maybe we've been through something and we feel a lot more wise. Maybe you just had a breakup, for example, and now you just feel, because this is also for my single people too, like maybe you just feel a lot more wise. You've learned from the relationship, or maybe you're just like kind of like closing up that connect the dots chapter about like your past relationship, and you're like, oh wow, like I definitely learned from that situation. I feel a lot more wise going forward dating. So I see it as a positive thing no matter what. Okay, important. The fates. Okay, so this is saying, hey, It's kind of like destiny, and it's kind of saying what will be will be. So it's under importance. So we need to hear that. So we need to say, it is what it is. I will fulfill my dreams no matter what. Whatever's happening to me right now and by the way, inner knowing will come in handy with this. I know it's under money, finance, and the career. Maybe it has something to do with that in this instance here. Maybe it has something to do with your dream, right? Maybe you know in your soul that you will fulfill your dream, but maybe right now you have to take a job or something like that. And so it's important to understand the fates in that way. It's saying like you will get to where you need to go, no matter what, right? And it's such a good card to get when we have the Direction Guardian 2 in this spread, because, okay, so I talk about aligned path and misaligned path. It's almost like I'm misspeaking though, but not really with the misaligned path, because, okay, say your destination is, here's a good example. Okay, say your destination is the Caribbean, right? Somewhere in the Caribbean, and you're flying from New York. So you can go from New York to the Caribbean, right? You can take one flight, or you can go from New York and do a layover in Chicago, then do a layover in Phoenix, Arizona, and then another one in Atlanta, Georgia, and then you finally go down to the Caribbean, right? So all of these things that seem like detours or the misaligned path will always bring you to the Caribbean, the final destination. Okay, that's what it's basically saying. So it's important to understand you will get to your destination even if something happens this week that doesn't go as planned, because again, we have that shapeshifter, right? So maybe it's linked to that in some way, okay? You will still get there, okay? So use your inner knowing, okay? Use your intuition and use your soul to guide you here when it's saying it's important that you understand that you will get there, okay? You will get there. So I love that. I love when it shows up. All right, health and wellness. What do we got going on? We have Messiah, serving humanity with humility. Okay, so this is basically saying going through things without an ego in a positive way. So basically, having humility, being humble. I think we actually got this in the last weekly. We've got this energy kind of coming in saying like, hey, we need to humble ourselves, right? We need to have a little bit more humility, and it's definitely coming in health and wellness. So keep your ego out of this stuff, right? Oh God, what's a good example for this? I always use a weight loss journey, so let me think if I can think of one. Yeah, I mean, maybe a good one is like you lost all the weight, you're feeling yourself, which is amazing, but then you start putting other people down for being overweight or something like that, right? Your ego gets in the way, and you now feel like you're you've lost your humility, basically, like you're feeling like your ego gets in the way. And so basically it's saying serve humanity with humility, so do it with humility, okay? So don't forget that, right? Don't let our egos kind of get in the way. Health and wellness, whatever your journey is, spiritual, I mean, a spiritual awakening journey basically is that, right? It's like the the death of the ego, right? And so it's almost like an oxymoron in that way, where it's kind of like, yeah, that's like the whole point of the awakening journey. But and maybe it is highlighting anybody going through a spiritual awakening, because it is saying like you are kind of, that's the one journey really that you go through with a lot of humility. So be like that, basically. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense to you guys. All right, overall outcome, what do we got? Drum roll, how do we close out the week here? We have stay rooted and grounded, Earth Guardian. Okay, I like that. It's a good card to end on. So yeah, this is saying being more grounded, more rooted. I'm definitely getting the vibe of like, we've gotten this a few times, like as a theme in the last couple of readings, about more stability, about planting our roots, about being a little bit more, again, stable, putting down roots. What's another word I'm looking for? Yes, I said grounded already. Making a commitment. That is it. So I think that's very interesting. Ties into that first card there with all that glitters. Sometimes we think that, again, the grass is always kind of greener on the other side, but it's not always, right? And so maybe the thing is, Spirit is not asking you to settle. Spirit is just saying, like, look at things currently, take a good look at things, and really make sure, like, you're not necessarily letting your envy kind of, get the best of you, the comparison, getting the best of you, or thinking another life would be, if you just had this, and this in another life or something like that. Like, we're not seeing things for what they actually are. That's the other thing. And we're not necessarily, I will say also, like, giving it a chance, and definitely, because the rooted is about like putting roots somewhere, right? It's saying like, maybe what I'm dealing with isn't so bad. Like, maybe I should give it a shot. Like, that's what I feel like. Again, Spirit is not asking you to settle. I encourage everybody to use their intuition. I'm just here to interpret the energy, but it definitely feels like that, okay? So, or a variation of that. And again, you guys can put down below how you feel like it resonates with you. So, guys, I think it's a good week. Do I see any red flags? I really don't. I really, really don't. I think we're just going to have some, again, issues with adaptability and flexibility, issues with finding gratitude. I'm okay with that. Like I said, forced gratitude is not real sincere gratitude, but try to get there as best you can. And everything else looks pretty good. I don't love the immature friends over here, but again, I don't feel like that's huge or major. So interesting stuff. So, all right, guys, have a good week. And I'll see you next week. All right, bye, guys.